This is an original Philco picture tube. Of course, the original replacement Philco picture tube. 17 CSP4. And my intention is to put this tube in the 17-inch Predicta. Now I know the socket is different, but the neck size is the same. It's a 110-degree tube, so the yoke should work fine. I will have to rewire that socket, but it should work. I haven't opened it up to look at it, but the fellow did open it before I bought it. I told him I wanted him to confirm that it was a brand new replacement tube. So I'm going to open this up and we'll look it over. And to unbox this tube, you do flip the box on its top, which is kind of strange, but see, it says open this end. When you do this, the face of the tube should be facing up when I open this box up. That's the safest way to take it out. You don't want to grab it by the neck. It might break off. So, I'm assuming original packing. There's a warranty card. I'll have to be sure I send that in, take advantage of that warranty on this tube. I think that expired a long time ago. But anyway, there's a soft paper that was on the face of it. He's put bubble wrap around it to protect it more. There it is. Well, now I'm going to take it out and lay it on the table here and we'll look it over. Neck size is correct. Just the socket's different. It's just a matter of rewiring the sockets. It matches the card, so. I already have my Syncor CR70 hooked up. And I fully expect this tube is a new tube. Checks fine, but just for kicks, I want to check it anyway. So I have my universal test lead hooked up. And when you use a universal adapter, F1 is on 1, F2 is on 2, K switch is on 3, G1 is on 4, G2 is on 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get the pattern there. Alright. Let's turn on. We got our filaments on 6. I'll turn the fine set all the way down. And tube's drawing current. And I see a filament. Yep. Alright, set our filaments on 6.3. Okay. Heater cathode shorts, good. G1 shorts, good. Cut off. I really expect this to be very adjustable, and it is. There's all the way down. It's really responding well. And finally, emission. Really anxious to see the difference in picture. The old tube, it's not super bad, but the emission is low, and it's not like in a room with a lot of lighting in it or in the daytime. It's hard to see. Here's a picture on the 17-inch with the old tube. Not the worst picture, but you see we got a lot of shimmering in the whites. Focus is not real good. So we'll put this new tube in and see the difference. Alright, getting ready to take the set apart, take this old tube out. First thing I have to do is take the back off. And I will have to pull the chassis out to unplug everything. Okay, back's off. Took this support brace off. Alright, I was able just to slide the chassis back a little. And that gave me access to all the connections, so had them unplugged. Now I'll just take the CRT off the base, and those should pull right through, and we'll change this tube. And there's the tube. Pull right out. So now we do have to take this all apart. First step is this ring around the edge. Just unclips. It's got a spring at the bottom that holds it, so we'll take that off. And the next steps, got a screw on each side. This strap that holds the two halves together. Alright, got the strap off. Next step is to remove these little brass plugs. And there's a screw on each one of them, one on each side. There, what they look like. Let's go right in there. So both of them are off. So now this back should lift right off. Like so. We got a couple things to do. Have to loosen this strap. It just hooks in, so. And then hopefully we can maybe just loosen this just some where the tube will slip down in there on each side. But we'll see. And we'll loosen the yoke, so we'll take it off. And hopefully, you can just lay this kind of to the side. Try to reuse this tape that's on here. Maybe we can reuse that. Okay. Socket will come back here too. Okay. So far, so good. All right. So the next step's loosen this bracket till they will come out of this little clip right here. And before we pull this tube out, there's the proof that it is an original Philco 2.68 17 DRP4. So just loosening this one side will allow this strap to come off. It gives it enough play. And it also clips under there and under there and under there. Alright, I did get the front out of the way. And these little hooks that this piece hooks in, they just go on each corner like that. So I've removed all four of them. Two there and two over there. And I've loosened this bracket some. I think it's going to come off without too much of a problem. Alright, tube is out. And I did notice this has little pads on each corner that stayed with the bracket there, but they came out with the tube on this side, so I will have to take them off, put them back on the new tube before I put the bracket on. new tube, old tube. And as you can tell, the new tube is going to be deeper, but I can make that work. I'll just have to put a spacer of some sort on the rear cover there. Okay, outer bracket is on. So I'll put these clips back on, like that. Pull this ring back on here. Tighten it up. And we'll put the yoke back on. And even though that tube's slightly longer neck, still was no problem to slide the yoke on. Just tighten it just a little, keep it snug, because I'll have to move it anyway when I make final adjustments. Okay, put this tape back across here. We need to separate that video line. Don't know that that matters, but we'll put it on top of it like that. Took the plate off. The back cover is all the way down where it belongs. And there's the difference, as you can see. Put the screw in. Goes in a bracket on the side of the CRT. Put the brass plug in. And we'll repeat on the other side. Alright, got that retainer on. It holds the two halves together. And that won't plug in, so I'm going to have to change the socket on the tube. Got everything put back. So we're ready to set it back on the cabinet. Alright. Everything's put back, so I just need to put that 7-pin socket on the new tube, wire it into the CRT leads, and we can turn this thing on and see what we get. Before I bolted the chassis back down, I did change the filament wire. Moved it from the 2.6 volt tap over to the 6.3 volt tap coming out of the power transformer. Because, of course, this replacement tube is 6.3 volts. There's how far she sticks out. So, looks like about a 1-inch spacer. And that's if the socket fits flush with the back of the tube, and I think it will. So, approximately 1 inch should do it. Got some ideas on that. Well, I'll show you what I come up with on this rear cover. Just cut some plastic spacers. They actually were off insulation off electrical connectors. But I cut them. I got them about between 3/4 and 850 thousandths, so around 800 thousandths. I think I only needed about less than 3/4, so this should give me a little extra there. And I used a hot glue gun right there. First I glued them to the back, and I put these bolts and nuts, tightened them down where they was good and secure while the glue dried. And then I also put glue around the perimeter. I didn't put any on the outside because I've got another idea for that. And that's this. May not work, but I'm going to try to put this flexible vinyl around it like that, kind of. And I'll hot glue that too, just like I did the spacers. So next thing I need to do is to cut this vinyl down to the correct width, and I'll see if I can get it put on and show you what it looks like then. But that should work. Have me some new screws here that I found. They go through, and they'll be more than enough to go into the back to hold it. Well, there it is. Put my joint at the very bottom to where this cover was cracked too. Forgot to mention that, and I super glued it and melted tabs across it to hold it together. But there's the hot glue. You can see that I ran all the way around it, and I put glue where each one of these extensions is. So I think that'll work. And there's my screws that go back in it, longer screws. All right, what do you think? And I checked, and I've got probably 75 to 100 thousandths of clearance between the inside of the cover and the picture tube base, so I think it'll work fine. And if I want to get really cute, I could try to match that color that's on the back and the rear cover, but the rear is usually a little darker anyway. I don't know if you can tell there, but it's a darker color than the actual back is, so I'm just going to leave it like that. But I think it turned out really well. And I did put my joint at the very bottom, so you can't see it. I'm satisfied with that. Here's a socket I came up with to fit the tube. And just took it off this old brightener. I have several of these laying around that I'm not using, so there's one. There's a few more laying there. One in a box. I'll just match up my connections. Made me a cheat sheet here on which pin of the socket, the old socket, goes to which pin of the new tube. So should be pretty straightforward. I'll get that finished and we'll try it out. Socket's wired in. You see I put heat shrink on all the connections. Let's turn it on and see what we got. Alright, there's a signal generator hooked up. Here's the rear cover with it put on. Looks a little better than just putting spacers and leaving that open, so happy with that. That completes the picture tube replacement on the 17-inch Predicta Debutante. Hope you enjoyed something in the video and learned a little bit. While not a super easy job, it wasn't that complicated. Rewiring that socket was the hardest part. First time I'd ever changed a tube in a Predicta, so I learned something too. But very pleased with the way it turned out. This tube, of course it's a new tube, it looks like a new tube. So I guess this is what the picture looked like on these sets when they were new. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button,
and we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel. Thanks. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, and we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel. Thanks.